no Ozunu, who began the fusion of kami and Buddhas. Mountain faith today, the living tradition of the Yamabushi. Even in modern Japan, mountain worship quietly but firmly endures. Its most visible inheritors are the Yamabushi, the ascetic practitioners of Shūgō. They rarely appear in statistics. There are organized lineages such as the Shingen-based Tozen-ha, centered on Daigo-ji, and the Tendai-based Hanzen-ha, centered on shūgō, as well as the practitioners of Mount Haguro and Mount Ontake. Yet most followers are ordinary temple parishioners or shrine parish members who live secular lives and take on the role of Yamabushi only during training or rituals. Their actual numbers are impossible to grasp. What can be seen, however, is the depth of their faith. From city neighborhoods to rural villages, local devotional associations, still thrive. A liquor store owner, a bank clerk, or a systems engineer may suddenly don white robes, blow a conch shell, and climb a sacred mountain. For them, the mountain is not mere nature but a sacred realm where gods and Buddhas dwell, a gate between this world and the other. Shūgō remains a living religion woven into the fabric of modern life. No Ozunu, neither god nor monk, but a human seeker. No Ozunu, revered as the founder of Shūgō, was neither a god nor a Buddha, neither a monk nor a priest. His other name, no Yubazoku, comes from the Sanskrit upasaka, meaning lay devotee. In plain Japanese, it could be said he was the ascetic uncle of N's family. In other words, he was a man who never renounced the world but pursued enlightenment within it. The 7th century was a time of great intellectual transformation in Japan. Ancient Shinto beliefs still held sway, while Buddhism was being introduced as a state religion. The relationship between the native kami and the foreign Buddhas was being questioned and reimagined. Born into a family of Shinto priests, no Ozunu turned his heart toward Buddhist teachings. He withdrew into the mountains, seeking to experience directly the powers of both gods and Buddhas and to unite them within himself. Later legends tell of him commanding demons or flying through the air, but beneath those tales lies a profound sensitivity to the unity of nature, humanity, and the divine. He was once exiled, according to records, but that only shows how his ideas could not be contained by the religious or political systems of his time. No Ozunu stood outside institutions, exploring new forms of faith in the liminal space of the mountains. The fusion of kami and Buddhas, the violence of separation. A temple with a torii gate, a shrine with a Buddhist hall. These curious sights, still found across Japan, are remnants of shinbutsu shūgō, the fusion of kami and Buddhas. Since the 7th century, when Japan accepted the new, godly, idea of Buddhism, people have wrestled with how to reconcile the native kami and the foreign Buddhas, different yet somehow similar beings. Some explained that the ancient gods were manifestations of Buddhas. Others absorbed Buddhas into the realm of the kami. Still others equated deities by name, such as identifying the ancient deity Okunanushi with the Buddhist god Daikokaten, since the name Okunanushi can also be read as Daikoku. Many creative approaches were tried. In the Nara period, temples called Jingu-ji were built within shrine precincts to pray for the protection of the state. Even near Ai's Grand Shrine, such temples once stood. By the Heian period, the relationship between kami and Buddhas was given philosophical form through the doctrine of Hanji Suiyaku. The idea that Buddhas are the original essence, Hanji, while the Japanese gods are their manifested traces, Suiyaku, appearing to guide people. Thus, Amaterasu was seen as the manifestation of Danichi Nyorai, and Hachiman as that of Amida Buddha. Kami and Buddhas were no longer opposites but two expressions of the same truth. In the medieval era, this fusion permeated daily life. Priests participated in shrine festivals, and shrines were built within temple grounds. The syncretic faiths of Kamana, Kiyoshi, and Kasuga exemplified this unity. Shūgō itself was born from this current of fusion, seeing the mountain as the embodiment of both kami and Buddhas, and seeking union with them through ascetic practice. It was the purest expression of Japan's spiritual inclusiveness. Then came the Meiji government's Shinbutsu Bunri, the forced separation of kami and Buddhas. In an instant, over a millennium of harmony was destroyed, temples and shrines were torn apart, Buddhist images smashed, and every trace of Buddhism purged from shrine grounds. A culture built upon layers of fusion was violently divided for the sake of state ideology. It was an act of control over faith itself. To separate kami from Buddhas was to divide the human heart. The unified world that no Ozunu had glimpsed was shattered by modernity's cold hand. No Ozunu lives on, the memory of the threshold. And yet, no Ozunu's spirit still lives in the hearts of the Japanese. When people bow to the mountains, when a Buddha statue quietly stands within a shrine, the memory of Shinbutsu Shūgō endures. No Ozunu remains a figure who walks the boundary between kami and Buddhas, nature and humanity, this world and the next. A man of the threshold whose presence still flows beneath Japan's spiritual culture. Near my childhood home stood a stone monument to no Ozunu. As a child, I somehow sensed, this isn't a Jizo statue. The place lay along the old road from Osaka City toward Mount Mino, where no Ozunu is said to have attained enlightenment. Nearby was a village known for its Shūgō traditions. The novelist Yukio Mishima set his work Thirst for Love in that same area. At dusk, the air around the monument would grow heavy and strange, as if the boundary between worlds had thinned. No Ozunu still conveys that sense of the threshold. Neither God nor Buddha, yet unmistakably sacred. He lives on, carried by the wind that blows through the mountains.
Thank you for watching until the end.